Hey there, welcome to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave. Hope you're doing well tonight. So today I want to show you how to do a gnocchi and a pesto cream sauce. Really simple dish, especially if you do like I'm doing. I store-bought my gnocchi, so really it's just all about the pesto cream. Let's go ahead. We'll make our pesto, then we'll make our sauce. We'll put it all together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to blanch basil. Now, this is what we're going to use for our pesto, but you know, blanching is a technique that we should all learn, pick up. Here I've obviously got a big bunch of herbs, and you can do this with a bunch of different herbs. I've got a pot of boiling salted water, and literally you just drop that right in there, give it a little stir, and what the blanching is going to do, it's actually going to cook the leaves. And believe it or not, although it's sitting in water, the blanching or the cooking is actually going to draw water out of the cells of the basil and really just kind of concentrate the flavor, break down those the cell structures, and give it or take away some of that raw taste. It really only takes, you know, 35 to 50 or so seconds, definitely under a minute, to do a blanch like this, provided you got the water nice and hot, which you should do. And then once you get it done, we're going to remove it, strain it, and then run it under ice cold water to really set that bright green color. If you just kind of take it out, it'll turn a dull kind of you know, military green, puke green, which isn't any good. All right, let's go ahead and make our basil. I've got my my blanched spinach right here. I'm just going to you know, actually I don't even need to drop it up or chop it up. You can kind of tear it up a little bit. If you got some of the thicker stems, you know, beating those up a little might help a little bit, but you don't need to do a whole lot to it. I've also got my my toasted pine nuts. I'm going to use, what is that, half a handful, probably a tablespoon and a half, at least to start with. I've got a few in reserve. I'm also going to add some Parmesan cheese. This is, again, probably 2 good tablespoons there. And then we'll hit it with some olive oil, a good amount. So the olive oil plus a little bit of water is going to provide the blender with enough liquid to actually spin and really combine all these ingredients. We also want to season a little bit with salt and with pepper. And then I also like to add just a little bit of lemon juice to mine. You know, really half a teaspoon or so. Certainly to start with. You're not looking for obviously a lemon tasting sauce, but I find the acid from the lemon helps keep everything a little bit greener, and I also like the brightness that the acidity gives the pesto. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulsing this, and let everything just kind of come together and form that nice paste. Once it does, we'll come back and take a look. Okay, so we've gotten a nice little grate down. Now, first thing you want to do, you may have to scrape down the sides if you find it sticking around, but you want to give it a little taste. See if it needs anything. This actually, it tastes pretty good as it is. I don't know if you noticed when I stirred up, I actually think this this pesto is a little bit looser than what I would normally expect. I must have you know, just put in a little bit extra water, but you know, not a huge deal. We can deal with that. One, it'll still be great if you use it as is. Two, if you add a few more nuts and maybe a little bit more cheese, that'll help thicken it up. And finally, when I tasted it, it was great, but I found it could use still a little bit more of that bite, a little bit more acid. So I'm going to touch it up with a little more lemon, and then we're going to go ahead and just blend it up again. Okay, pesto is done. You want to, of course, give it another taste. Make sure it meets your approval. This one does. So, as I said in the beginning, I messed up on my basil. I forgot to add any garlic. Now, normally I would chop a clove of garlic, throw it in the blender, blend it all together. That obviously gives a nice garlicky flavor to the dish. But since I forgot it, what are you going to do? You can do a couple things. One, forget it. Just go ahead and serve it as is. It'll still be delicious. Option 2, we know how to mince garlic. That's on the site as well. I've just got a clove here that I finely minced, and just put it in afterwards. You know, you can even add this back to your blender. Throw in a clove of garlic and get it in there. I've already put the blender away, so, you know, don't worry about it. Don't tell anybody. Nobody's going to know other than you. It'll be totally fine. So for our gnocchi and pesto cream sauce, we've got to make a sauce. I've got my water on the boil for my gnocchi. I'm going to drop that in just a second because they only take a couple minutes to cook. And here I've got about a third of a pint of cream that I'm going to reduce by about a quarter. And then I've got my pesto, which we made earlier, and I just sealed it up, keep the air away from it, make sure you get the lid on it. You can throw it in the fridge for a couple hours. I don't want to cook that pesto with the cream. I'm just going to add it at the end. That'll keep it nice and bright and fresh and beautifully green. Once this reduces, we'll come back, we'll put it all together. Okay, I just saw my first gnocchi float to the surface. So let's go ahead and make our pesto sauce. I've got my cream seasoned to where I want it. I'm going to keep the heat low, and I'm going to add some of my pesto. Now you're probably asking, how much pesto? Well, how much do you like basil? I just added maybe 2 tablespoons, and I'm just going to gently stir that in. And obviously you're going to see everything turn a nice green color. If you're in doubt, give it a taste. You know, I can't really tell you your taste. Easiest thing to do, add it in, stir it up, and see if it hits the spot for you. This one I actually think is right on, so I'm going to leave that as is. So after stirring in my pesto, we'll taste the sauce. My gnocchi are done. I just drained them. That sauce is right on. I'm just going to add my gnocchi directly to that sauce. Turn up the heat a little bit. And then we just toss it in the pan to coat everything together. You know, again, if you're looking now and you think you've got not enough sauce, you can definitely just add a little bit more cream and add a little bit more pesto. You do. I like to season one more time because we just added, obviously, all those gnocchi in there that didn't have salt and pepper. And there we go with our gnocchi and pesto cream. Let's go ahead and plate it up. Okay, I've got my pasta bowl here. We're going to lay some of that gnocchi right down in the middle, pile it nice and high, and then I like to garnish with a little bit of chopped basil and a couple shavings of Parmesan cheese right over top. You can obviously grate the cheese as well, but I think it's kind of a cool presentation to do these shavings. Get them on there, and there you go, with a beautiful gnocchi and a pesto cream sauce. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.